Alright, my opponent's claim was that a glass of alcohol every day, drinking moderately, is actually good for your health. One of the secondary claims was that the first one was that alcohol contains antioxidants that are healthy for your body. The second claim was that alcohol reduces heart attacks and strokes. And the third claim was that alcohol improves brain functioning and the immune system. Now, my response to claim one is it has to do with the reasoning, and basically, my opponent basically expected the audience to make the inference that this is why we should drink alcohol moderately once a day. And what this does is this implies that drinking alcohol is the best way to gain these antioxidants that are healthy for your body. Now, my counter for this is that the opponent argues that we drink moderately to, we drink alcohol moderately to obtain these health benefits, you know, to get these antioxidants. But if you're familiar with the way that we measure antioxidants in food and beverages, it's the unit of measure called the ORAC, which is basically stands for oxygen radical absorption, absorbance capacity. Now, with spice, like the two biggest ones you have is like, let's say, for example, you have cloves and you have cinnamon. Now in cloves you have the ORAC level, which is the oxygen radical absorption capacity, is 314,446, and then with cinnamon it's 267,536. Now this is according to Dr. DeGrampe of Healthy Living. Now if you look at red wine, you have the ORAC level of 3,607, so obviously you see a very big, significant difference between the level of antioxidants in both. Okay, now on to the next. And you know what, I'm sorry, in addition to that, from my opponent's own source that was pertaining to the antioxidants in red wine, there's actually, it goes on to, there's a Harvard researcher by the name of Eric Rim, and he actually is quoted saying that it does not contain some, but they are not always well absorbed. If you want antioxidants, he says that you're better off eating a spinach salad with vegetables than drinking a glass of red wine. Now, my response to claim number 2, which was that alcohol reduces heart attacks and strokes. The benefits of wine, this is basically, you know, specifically the grapes that are in the wine, that are used to produce the wine. They reduce arterial disease and heart disease. So basically, by deductive reasoning, I mean, I'm looking at like one can just eat grapes instead of drinking, so they don't have to actually drink even moderately every day to obtain these health benefits. Now, my third response to the third claim is that, my response to the third claim is that she explained a recent study that was done in the New England Journal of Medicine, and basically. There was a quote that she gave, and it said that moderate drinkers scored better than teetotalers on tests of mental functions. Now, this study was conducted on women that were only from the ages of 70 to 81, and the fact that this fact was actually revealed and tacked on at the end after the quote, I basically saw this as being misleading. And that it implies that her supporting claim, which once again I reiterate, is that alcohol improves brain functions and the immune system. This implies that basically that it happens regardless of age or someone's gender. In closing, my opponent gave a great argument. I feel that it's important to remember, though, that individuals can gain the same kind of health benefits from sources other than alcohol, so that they don't have to drink moderately every day. That's it. Thank you.
All right, well, the main and secondary claims are laid out pretty well. On the first point, you've got this reasoning argument suggesting that the advocate's making an inference that this is the best way to get the antioxidants. And then you have an explanation of how antioxidants work in absorbing the negative things that they're supposed to take care of. And you had a comparison, and I thought the comparison was pretty dramatic. It sounds like the other things it's being compared to, they are so much more effective than the red wine is. And I especially like the way you ended that particular point with the evidence from the advocate's own source, which says that the truth is, if you were trying to get this benefit, you'd be better off eating spinach salad than drinking wine. So I thought that that was a pretty effective response on that first point. On the second point, you do make a presupposition that there's nothing to do with the fermentation process that gives us these benefits, and I'm not sure that that's the case, because if it's just eating grapes that's going to give us this outcome, then I think you've got a good argument here. But I'm not sure what the advocate's original evidence was, and there's not really a discussion of it. You just kind of make this inference that the grapes would contain whatever benefits there are. I don't know if the process of fermentation changes any of that. On the last point, I think you've got a legitimate set of presses on the evidence that's being utilized, that the body of the study is perhaps a little biased, that it's limited to a particular group. You know, that making an inference from this might be a bit problematic. My guess would be is if you went to the original source in the New England Journal of Medicine, you would probably find some disclaimers about the research in the research itself, and that would probably put a nice capper on that last response. So you're pretty direct on those points. I thought you had reasonable arguments. Most of them feel like presses, and they're pretty legitimate presses. The first one, I think, is the one that works the best. All right, thank you.